Welcome to AI ConvoCast, where we bring you the latest in AI and tech innovation. Quick housekeeping. Check out the affiliate links in our description. Using them supports the show, and please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Let's jump right in. Today, we will be covering Anthropic's bold Super Bowl ad, pledging Claude will remain ad-free. The broader AI marketing showdown between OpenAI and Anthropic during the big game, Google bringing Gemini into classrooms through Workspace for education, and Google's Gemini app crossing 750 million monthly active users. So Super Bowl LX happened this past Sunday evening, and one of the biggest surprises of the night had nothing to do with football. Anthropic aired its very first national television commercial during the game, and the message was clear. Claude, their AI assistant, will stay ad-free. The 30-second in-game spot was built around the idea of AI that works for you, not advertisers. It was a direct and not at all subtle jab at competitors who are exploring or already implementing ad-supported models for their AI assistants. Before the game even kicked off, Anthropic had also released longer versions of the ad on YouTube to build momentum. The core argument Anthropic made is that when an AI assistant is funded by advertising, there is a real risk that the answers it gives you could be influenced by whoever is paying for placement. Think about asking your AI for health advice or financial guidance and getting a response that is quietly shaped by a sponsor. Anthropic is saying they will not go down that road. Their business model stays rooted in enterprise contracts and subscriptions. Dario Amodei, Anthropic's CEO, put it plainly saying, quote, "Claude will never push sponsored answers," end quote. Now, Anthropic did acknowledge that policies can evolve over time, but they committed to being transparent if anything ever changes. Alex Heath over at The Verge described it well, saying, quote, "Anthropic is drawing a bright line against ads in AI," end quote. It is a fascinating strategic move because it is not just a product pitch, it is a values pitch, and doing it on the biggest advertising stage in America makes it land even harder. That Anthropic ad was just one piece of a much larger story from Super Bowl Sunday. This year's game essentially became the first real consumer branding war between frontier AI companies. Both Anthropic and OpenAI purchased national Super Bowl ad inventory, putting their products in front of an estimated audience of over 120 million viewers. OpenAI leaned into promoting ChatGPT as the go-to everyday assistant for the mass market, while Anthropic countered with the trust and ethics angle we just talked about. The Economic Times described the scene well, calling the Super Bowl, quote, "a battleground for AI trust," end quote. The SF Chronicle tech desk went even further, calling it, quote, "the ChatGPT moment for AI branding," end quote. What makes this moment significant is that it represents a clear shift in how these companies see themselves. For years, the competition between AI labs played out in research papers, developer forums, and benchmark scores. Now it is playing out during commercial breaks alongside beer and car ads. The messaging from both sides focused on trust, usefulness, and making AI feel like a normal part of daily life. This is consumer-centric competition at its most visible, and the fact that AI companies are willing to spend millions on Super Bowl airtime tells you everything about where the industry sees its next phase of growth. It is no longer about convincing engineers, it is about convincing everyone. Shifting over to education, Google made a significant move earlier in the week by expanding Gemini AI features across its Workspace for education platform. The rollout, which began on February 3rd, brings generative AI tools directly into Google Docs, Slides, Forms, and even Vids for educators and students aged 18 and older. This is available to institutions that have Education Plus licenses or the Teaching and Learning add-on, and importantly, there is no additional cost for those who already have eligible licenses. So what does this actually look like in practice? Teachers and students get writing assistants built right into Docs, AI-generated images and videos they can use for projects and presentations, automatic form summaries that can save hours of manual review, and content generation tools across multiple apps. Google also confirmed that Sheets integration is planned as a next step. Admin controls are included so that schools and districts can manage how these tools are rolled out and who has access, which is a smart move given the sensitivity around AI in educational settings. The Google Workspace blog framed it as generative AI becoming, quote, part of everyday learning, end quote. One edtech commentator noted that this quote instantly raises the baseline for digital literacy, end quote, which is an interesting way to think about it. When AI tools are just built into the platforms students are already using every day, the learning curve flattens dramatically. Students do not have to go find a separate AI tool or figure out how to use a new interface. It is just there inside the apps they already know. And rounding things out with another major Google story, the company disclosed that its Gemini app has now surpassed 750 million monthly active users globally. That is up from roughly 650 million the prior quarter, which is a remarkable growth curve. The surge has been driven in large part by the rollout of Gemini 3, and specifically Gemini 3 Pro, which has been generating higher engagement across the board. On the infrastructure side, Google says it is now processing more than 10 billion tokens per minute through its APIs, which gives you a sense of the sheer volume of AI interactions happening on Google's platform at any given moment. Sundar Pichai, Google's CEO, highlighted the milestone saying, quote, Gemini is now used by hundreds of millions daily, end quote. Tech analyst Ben Thompson offered some useful context, noting, quote, scale is Google's quiet superpower in AI, end quote. That observation really gets to the heart of it. Google has something that almost no other AI company can match, which is distribution. Gemini is not just a standalone app. It is embedded across Google Search, Android devices, Workspace, and Pixel hardware. When you have that many touchpoints with users, adoption becomes almost organic. Google also cited significant cost reductions as a key driver, making it cheaper for both consumers and developers to use Gemini-powered features, which naturally accelerates uptake. At 750 million monthly active users, Gemini is now one of the fastest consumer AI adoption stories on record, and comfortably the most widely deployed consumer AI assistant in the world. Thank you for listening to AI Convo Cast. Please don't forget to rate, review, and share if you like what you hear. Thanks and hope to see you again next time.